They told you debt is bad. They warned you that loans will destroy your life. They said only foolish people borrow money. But what if the richest people in the world used loans as a weapon? What if debt was not a chain, but a lever? What if loans, when used with intelligence, discipline, and vision, could accelerate your journey to financial freedom faster than saving alone ever could? This is not financial advice. This is financial awakening. This is how people quietly build wealth while others stay trapped in fear. This is how loans can work in your favor. Imagine two people. One saves 10% of their income for 30 years. The other borrows strategically, invests wisely, and builds assets that grow faster than the cost of the loan. One reaches stability. The other reaches freedom. The difference is not luck. The difference is leverage. Leverage is the secret language of wealth. It means using other people's money to amplify your results. Every skyscraper, every major corporation, every billionaire empire was built with leverage. No one builds a trillion-dollar company using only savings from a paycheck. Loans are not evil. Ignorance is. Fear is. Lack of education is. When you borrow money to buy liabilities, you trap yourself. When you borrow money to buy assets, you empower yourself. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out. The wealthy borrow to buy assets. The poor borrow to buy liabilities. Think about real estate. A rental property can generate monthly cash flow. The tenant pays the mortgage. Over time, the property value increases. Inflation reduces the real value of the debt. In 30 years, the loan is gone, but the asset remains. That is how loans work in your favor. Think about businesses. Entrepreneurs use loans to start companies, expand operations, hire talent, and scale faster. Without loans, most businesses would never exist. The risk is real, but so is the reward. Think about education. Student loans can be dangerous, but when used strategically for high-income skills, they can multiply your earning potential for decades. The problem is not loans. The problem is borrowing without a plan. Wealthy people ask one question before borrowing. Will this loan make me more money than it costs? If the answer is yes, it is leverage. If the answer is no, it is a trap. Credit is a tool. Fire can cook your food or burn your house. Loans can build your future or destroy it. The difference is knowledge and discipline. You must understand interest. Interest is the price of money. When you borrow, you pay interest. When you invest, you earn returns. Your goal is to make your returns greater than your interest. This is the core formula of leverage. Return on investment minus interest equals wealth growth. The wealthy master this equation. They lock in low interest rates and invest in high return opportunities. They refinance, restructure, and optimize debt. They use tax advantages. They build credit profiles that give them access to cheap capital. The poor avoid loans out of fear, but they also avoid opportunity. They save slowly while inflation erodes their money. They stay safe but stuck. You must choose between safety and growth. Loans can accelerate time. Time is the most valuable asset you have. If a loan helps you buy an asset today instead of waiting 20 years, you gain 2 decades of growth. Imagine buying a property today instead of in 2045. Imagine starting a business today instead of retiring without ever trying. Imagine investing in yourself now instead of later. Debt can compress time. Time compression is power. But leverage without discipline is destruction. You must have rules. You must have a plan. You must have a vision. Never borrow for status. Never borrow for ego. Never borrow for instant gratification. Borrow for assets. Borrow for growth. Borrow for systems that work while you sleep. Cash flow is king. Appreciation is queen. Together they build an empire. When you borrow, you must think like an investor, not a consumer. Ask yourself, will this loan create income? Will this loan increase my net worth? Will this loan bring me closer to freedom? If the answer is yes, you are thinking like the wealthy. The wealthy understand inflation. Inflation reduces the value of money over time. If you lock in a fixed-rate loan, inflation quietly pays part of your debt. Your income rises, but your payment stays the same. Your debt becomes cheaper with time. This is why real estate investors love fixed-rate mortgages. This is why corporations issue bonds. This is why governments borrow trillions. Debt is a system. Learn the system. Your credit score is your financial reputation. It determines how cheap money is for you. A high credit score is a weapon. A low credit score is a barrier. The wealthy build credit intentionally. They use credit cards, pay on time, keep utilization low, and manage accounts for decades. They treat credit like a business asset. Loans can create leverage. Leverage can create wealth. Wealth can create freedom. But freedom requires responsibility. You must track every dollar. You must understand cash flow. You must build emergency reserves. You must diversify assets. Leverage without foundation is gambling. The wealthy are not gamblers. They are calculated risk takers. They borrow when others are afraid. They invest when others panic. They see opportunities in chaos. Every financial crisis creates millionaires. The difference is who has access to capital. Loans provide that access. If you wait until you are rich to borrow, you will never leverage. If you leverage intelligently, you increase your chances of becoming rich. This is the paradox of wealth. Loans are not shortcuts. They are accelerators. They amplify discipline and amplify mistakes. If you are disciplined, leverage makes you powerful. If you are reckless, leverage destroys you. So build discipline first. Your mindset must shift. Stop seeing debt as a monster. Start seeing it as a tool that requires mastery. Learn financial statements. Learn ROI. Learn cash-on-cash returns. Learn amortization schedules. Learn tax benefits. Knowledge is leverage. Every wealthy person has a financial education, whether formal or self-taught. You are not behind. You are learning now. This moment can change your trajectory. Loans can fund dreams. They can fund businesses, real estate portfolios, intellectual property, and investments that compound. Money is energy. Debt is energy. Direction determines outcome. You are not borrowing to survive. You are borrowing to build. You are not chasing comfort. You are chasing freedom. You are not afraid of numbers. You are mastering them. You are not stuck. You are starting. And this is only the beginning. They didn't teach this in school. They taught you how to avoid debt, how to fear credit cards, how to stay safe. But they never taught you how the world is actually built. They never taught you how banks think, how investors think, how empires think. Because the truth is uncomfortable. The truth is powerful. And the truth is this: money flows to those who understand leverage. When you hear the word loan, you might feel anxiety. You might remember stories of people drowning in debt, struggling to pay bills, feeling trapped. That story is real. But it is not the only story. There is another story happening quietly, behind closed doors, inside boardrooms, inside real estate offices, inside startup incubators. That story is about people using loans as stepping stones, not shackles. The wealthy see debt differently. They see debt as a contract with time. They see debt as fuel for opportunity. They see debt as a bridge from where they are to where they want to be. Think about a young investor who buys their first rental property with a mortgage. They didn't have enough cash to buy the property outright. But they had knowledge, discipline, and courage. They ran the numbers. They made sure the rent covered the mortgage, taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Every month, the tenant paid down their loan. Every year, the property appreciated. 10 years later, the investor owned a valuable asset, built equity, and generated cash flow. That loan didn't ruin their life. That loan changed their life. Now imagine someone who used a loan to buy a luxury car they couldn't afford. The car lost value the moment they drove it off the lot. The loan remained. The interest accumulated. Their income did not increase. That loan didn't build their future. That loan stole their future. The same tool. Two different outcomes. This is the difference between an investor and a consumer. Consumers borrow to look rich. Investors borrow to become rich. The wealthy are patient. They play the long game. They understand compounding. They understand that time in the market is more powerful than timing the market. Loans allow them to enter the market earlier. Imagine waiting 20 years to save enough to buy a property. Or buying it today with a loan and letting compounding work for 20 years. The difference is not small. The difference is life-changing. Leverage magnifies growth. A small down payment can control a large asset. A small interest rate can unlock massive opportunities. A single smart loan can change the trajectory of your life. But leverage demands respect. You must stress test your decisions. What happens if rents drop? What happens if interest rates rise? What happens if your income decreases? Wealthy people plan for worst-case scenarios. They build buffers. They build reserves. They never bet everything on one deal. Risk is not avoided. Risk is managed. The wealthy also understand taxes. Debt can be tax efficient. Interest can be deductible in certain situations. Depreciation can reduce taxable income. Cash flow can be structured. Corporations use debt to optimize their capital structure. Real estate investors use debt to increase returns while reducing taxes. This is not magic. This is strategy. You don't need to be a billionaire to think like one. You need education, discipline, and vision. Vision is critical. Why do you want money? Why do you want freedom? Why do you want to build assets? If you don't have a vision, debt will distract you. If you have a vision, debt can accelerate you. Picture your future. Picture waking up without an alarm. Picture working on what you love. Picture spending time with family, traveling, creating, giving. Loans are not the goal. Freedom is the goal. Loans are tools on the path. Your mindset must evolve. You are not just a worker. You are an asset builder. You are a capital allocator. You are a long-term strategist. Start small. Learn the basics. Read books. Listen to audiobooks. Study case studies. Understand how mortgages work, how business loans work, how lines of credit work. Knowledge removes fear. Fear keeps people broke. Education creates confidence. Confidence creates action. Action creates results. The wealthy are not perfect. They make mistakes. They lose money. They fail. But they learn. They adapt. They continue. You must accept that leverage involves risk. But so does doing nothing. Inflation erodes savings. Opportunities pass. Time moves forward. You can choose slow, safe, predictable. Or you can choose calculated, strategic, accelerated. Loans are not for everyone. They are for the disciplined, the educated, the visionary. They are for people who think in decades, not days. If you want fast gratification, avoid loans. If you want long-term wealth, learn to master them. Your credit profile is your passport. It opens doors to capital. Capital opens doors to opportunity. Opportunity opens doors to freedom. Every payment on time builds trust. Every responsible decision increases your power. Every smart investment builds your future. You are not powerless. You are not stuck. You are learning the rules of the game. The game is leverage. The game is assets. The game is time. You must understand something important. Wealth is not built by accident. It is engineered. Every loan, every investment, every decision is part of a blueprint. The rich don't guess. They calculate. Think about the psychology of borrowing. Most people see a loan as a burden. The wealthy see it as a lever. A lever can lift something far heavier than your own strength. Debt is that lever. Imagine holding a lever long enough to move a mountain. That is what smart debt does. It moves mountains of opportunity with a small amount of your own capital. But to use leverage, you must think differently. You must stop asking, "Can I afford this?" and start asking, "Will this pay me back?" This is the investor's question. This is the question that separates consumers from creators. When you buy an asset with a loan, you are buying future cash flow. You are buying time. You are buying freedom. When you buy a liability with a loan, you are buying stress. You are buying limitation. You are buying regret. This is not about being rich on Instagram. This is about being free in real life. The wealthy don't chase luxury. Luxury chases them after they build assets. They focus on systems. Systems that generate income without constant effort. Systems that scale. Systems that compound. Real estate is a system. Businesses are systems. Investments are systems. Intellectual property is a system. Loans are fuel for systems. A business loan can help you hire a team, build marketing, expand production, and reach customers faster. A mortgage can help you control a property that generates rent. A line of credit can help you seize opportunities when others are frozen. Opportunity does not wait for savings accounts to fill up. Opportunity appears, and those with capital act. Debt gives you access to capital. But capital without discipline is chaos. You must treat borrowed money with more respect than your own money. You must track every dollar. You must plan every payment. You must understand your margins. Margin is safety. Margin is freedom. Margin is power. The wealthy build margin into every deal. They expect things to go wrong. They prepare for downturns. They diversify. They never rely on a single source of income. They never rely on a single asset. They never rely on luck. They rely on strategy. You must adopt that mindset. You are not just dreaming. You are designing. Design your financial life like an architect designs a skyscraper. Every beam has a purpose. Every floor has a plan. Every system is tested. Loans are beams. They hold weight. They must be strong. You must know your numbers. How much is your interest rate? How long is your term? What is your monthly payment? What is your cash flow? What is your ROI? Numbers are not scary. Numbers are clarity. Clarity removes fear. Fear is the biggest enemy of wealth. Fear keeps you in comfort. Comfort keeps you small. Growth requires discomfort. The wealthy step into discomfort with preparation. They learn before they leap. They study before they act. They calculate before they borrow. You can do the same. Start with financial literacy. Understand compound interest. Understand amortization. Understand inflation. Understand diversification. Every concept is a tool. Every tool increases your power. The world runs on debt. Corporations use debt. Governments use debt. Banks use debt. Investors use debt. The question is not whether debt exists. The question is whether you will understand it or be controlled by it. You can be the borrower who is trapped, or the borrower who is empowered. Empowered borrowers create value. They build assets. They create jobs. They innovate. Trapped borrowers consume. They struggle. They survive. Your choices determine your category. Loans are not magic. They are multipliers. They multiply discipline. They multiply strategy. They multiply mistakes. They multiply ignorance. Choose what you multiply. You must build a foundation before leverage. Emergency savings. Stable income. Financial education. Clear goals. Leverage on a weak foundation is like building a skyscraper on sand. The wealthy build on rock. Rock is discipline. Rock is knowledge. Rock is vision. Vision pulls you forward. Without vision, debt becomes distraction. With vision, debt becomes propulsion. Close your eyes and imagine your future. Imagine owning assets that pay you. Imagine waking up without fear. Imagine creating impact. Imagine giving back. This is why you learn leverage. This is why you master loans. You are not chasing money. You are chasing freedom, time, purpose, and peace. Debt is not the destination. Debt is the vehicle. You are the driver. Drive with intelligence. Drive with patience. Drive with courage. And remember, every wealthy person started with a decision. A decision to learn. A decision to act. A decision to think differently. There is a moment in every successful person's life when they stop reacting and start designing. They stop blaming the system and start mastering the system. They stop fearing money and start commanding money. That moment can be now. Loans are not a shortcut to riches. They are a shortcut to opportunity. Opportunity is what you turn into wealth. Think about the biggest companies in the world. Apple, Amazon, Google, Tesla, Microsoft. None of them grew using only cash on hand. They issued debt. They raised capital. They leveraged financial instruments. They understood that capital today is more valuable than capital tomorrow. Time is everything. When you borrow wisely, you buy time. You buy the ability to act now instead of waiting. You buy the ability to compound earlier. You buy the ability to learn through real experience instead of theory. The world rewards action. But action without intelligence is destruction. So you must become intelligent with money. You must understand how loans are structured. Fixed rates, variable rates, amortization, balloon payments, collateral, unsecured credit, lines of credit, personal loans, business loans, mortgages. Each tool has a purpose. Each tool has risk. Each tool has potential. You are not here to memorize jargon. You are here to understand principles. Principle 1, borrow to acquire assets, not expenses. Principle 2, ensure cash flow covers debt service. Principle 3, maintain reserves for uncertainty. Principle 4, diversify your income streams. Principle 5, continuously educate yourself. The wealthy treat money like a science and an art. They analyze data and follow intuition. They build spreadsheets and build relationships. Relationships matter. Banks lend to those they trust. Investors fund those they believe in. Credit is based on trust, history, and behavior. Every on-time payment is a vote of confidence in you. Every responsible decision is a signal to the financial system that you are reliable. You are building a financial identity. Identity shapes destiny. If you see yourself as someone who understands money, you will act like someone who understands money. If you see yourself as someone who is bad with money, you will fulfill that prophecy. Change your identity. You are becoming financially literate. You are becoming strategic. You are becoming disciplined. You are becoming an investor. Say it in your mind. Feel it in your actions. The wealthy also understand psychology. They know that fear and greed drive markets. They buy when others are fearful and sell when others are greedy. They use leverage cautiously when opportunities are undervalued. They are contrarian with discipline. You must train your emotions. Loans can amplify stress. Markets can fluctuate. Assets can drop in value. If you panic, you lose. If you stay calm, you survive and thrive. Calm is power. Power is preparation. Preparation is education. Education is freedom. You do not need to be perfect. You need to be persistent. Wealth is built over decades, not days. Loans are long-term commitments. Assets are long-term vehicles. Your mindset must be long-term. Think in decades. Where do you want to be in 10 years? 20 years? 30 years? A single smart decision today can echo for decades. A single reckless decision can also echo. Choose wisely. The wealthy write their goals. They track their progress. They review their strategies. They adjust. They evolve. Money is dynamic. Your plan must be dynamic. Loans can be refinanced. Assets can be sold. Businesses can pivot. Portfolios can rebalance. Flexibility is strength. Rigidity is weakness. You must stay curious. Curious people learn. Learning people grow. Growing people win. You are not competing with others. You are competing with your past self. Every day you learn something new about money, you increase your power. Power creates options. Options create freedom. Freedom is the ultimate currency. Imagine waking up with options. You can work or not. You can travel or stay. You can create or relax. That is what assets do. That is what leverage can help you build. But remember, money is not the purpose. Money is a tool. Purpose is the destination. You must define your purpose. Why do you want financial freedom? What will you do with it? Who will you help? What will you create? Purpose gives meaning to wealth. Wealth without purpose is empty. Loans can help you build wealth. Wealth can help you build impact. You are not just a consumer. You are a creator. You are not just a borrower. You are a builder. You are not waiting for permission. You are taking responsibility. Responsibility is empowering. When you take responsibility for your financial life, everything changes. You stop blaming banks, governments, bosses, and markets. You start learning, planning, and executing. Execution is everything. You can listen to audiobooks, watch videos, read articles, but nothing changes until you act. Start small. Open a spreadsheet. Track your income and expenses. Check your credit report. Learn about interest rates. Read about real estate. Study business models. Talk to mentors. Join communities. Every step builds momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence builds courage. Courage builds wealth. You are on a journey. Loans are one part of the journey. Education is another. Mindset is another. Action is another. Everything is connected. You are building a system, not chasing a paycheck. There will be people who tell you this is dangerous. There will be voices that say, stay away from debt. Stay small. Stay safe. And yes, debt can be dangerous. But ignorance is more dangerous. Staying small is more dangerous. Living your entire life below your potential is the greatest danger of all. You were not born to survive. You were born to build. You were born to create. You were born to rise. Loans are not your enemy. Your enemy is fear, confusion, and inaction. When you understand money, you stop being intimidated by it. When you understand debt, you stop being controlled by it. When you understand leverage, you start controlling your future. The wealthy do not wait for perfect conditions. They wait for good enough conditions and then they act. They know that perfection is procrastination disguised as responsibility. You must stop waiting. Waiting to be rich. Waiting to be educated. Waiting to be confident. Confidence is built through action, not before action. Every payment you make, every investment you analyze, every financial decision you track, you are rewiring your identity. You are becoming someone who takes control. Control is freedom. The financial system is complex, but it is not evil by default. It is a machine. Machines can be used to build or destroy. You choose how to use it. Banks want borrowers who are predictable, disciplined, and reliable. Become that person. Investors want partners who are educated, honest, and strategic. Become that person. Opportunities come to those who are prepared. Preparation is a daily habit. You don't need millions to start. You need clarity. You need discipline. You need a plan. A plan turns chaos into direction. Direction turns effort into results. Write your goals. Visualize your future. Reverse engineer the steps. Learn the tools. Use the tools wisely. Loans are tools. Credit is a tool. Interest is a tool. Assets are tools. Time is a tool. You are the architect. Imagine telling your future self that you chose courage over fear. That you chose education over ignorance. That you chose building over consuming. Imagine your future self thanking you. You can become the person who understands money. You can become the person who builds assets. You can become the person who uses leverage responsibly. You can become the person who lives with options. Repeat this in your mind. I am learning. I am disciplined. I am strategic. I am building assets. I am designing my financial future. Your environment may not understand you. Your friends may not understand you. Your family may not understand you. That's okay. Visionaries are often misunderstood before they are respected. Stay focused. Stay humble. Stay disciplined. The journey will not be linear. Markets will rise and fall. Income will fluctuate. Emotions will test you. But discipline will carry you through. Discipline is boring. Discipline is powerful. Discipline is freedom. Every smart loan, every smart investment, every smart decision is a brick in your financial fortress. Brick by brick, you build security. Brick by brick, you build freedom. You are not chasing fast money. You are building slow, sustainable, unstoppable wealth. And one day, you will look back and realize that understanding leverage was a turning point. That mastering loans was a catalyst. That choosing education over fear changed everything. You will realize that debt, when used wisely, was not a curse. It was a catalyst. And this is just the beginning of your financial awakening. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture the life you want. Picture the freedom, the calm, the confidence. Picture waking up knowing your money works for you. Picture knowing that your decisions today built that future. This is not fantasy. This is design. Every wealthy life was designed. Every asset was acquired intentionally. Every loan was structured with purpose. Every step was part of a long-term vision. You are not late. You are early in your awakening. The moment you understand how money works, you separate yourself from the crowd. The moment you understand leverage, you stop fearing debt and start respecting it. Respect is power. You do not worship money. You command it. You do not fear debt. You master it. The wealthy live in systems. They build systems that generate income, systems that manage risk, systems that scale without burning them out. Loans are inputs into systems. Assets are outputs from systems. Cash flow is the lifeblood of systems. You are building your system. Every dollar has a job. Every loan has a purpose. Every asset has a role. This is strategy, not luck. Luck is temporary. Strategy is permanent. You must develop a long-term lens. Short-term thinking creates long-term problems. Long-term thinking creates short-term sacrifices and long-term rewards. You may sacrifice comfort today for freedom tomorrow. You may sacrifice luxury today for legacy tomorrow. Legacy is built through discipline, not desire. You are not chasing status. You are building stability. You are not chasing applause. You are building assets. When you understand leverage, you stop being emotional with money. You become logical, patient, and strategic. Emotion buys liabilities. Logic buys assets. Emotion reacts. Logic plans. Emotion consumes. Logic invests. Train your mind to pause, analyze, and decide. Decision-making is your superpower. Loans give you access. Access gives you opportunity. Opportunity gives you growth. Growth compounds. Compounding is magic for those who understand it and a mystery for those who don't. Time plus discipline plus leverage equals exponential outcomes. This is not about becoming obsessed with money. This is about using money as a tool to build a meaningful life. Money amplifies who you are. If you are disciplined, money amplifies discipline. If you are chaotic, money amplifies chaos. So become disciplined. Your habits matter more than your income. Your mindset matters more than your net worth. Your vision matters more than your current circumstances. Circumstances change. Vision stays. Every payment you make, every spreadsheet you update, every book you read, every deal you analyze, you are stepping into a new identity. Identity is destiny. You are not broke. You are pre-wealth. You are not confused. You are learning. You are not late. You are starting. Start now. Open your mind to financial education. Seek mentors. Learn from books. Study real-world examples. Build your network. Ask questions. The wealthy are not secretive about principles. The principles are public. The discipline is rare. Be rare. Use loans with intention. Use credit with discipline. Use leverage with respect. Respect creates longevity. Longevity creates legacy. Legacy creates meaning. One day, you will look back and realize that this moment was a turning point. The moment you chose to learn instead of fear. The moment you chose to design instead of drift. The moment you chose to build instead of consume. You will thank yourself. And when that day comes, you will understand that money was never the goal. Freedom, purpose, and impact were always the destination.